European Union? Are you satisfied with Mrs May's negotiations? Is there anybody that wants a second referendum? Well, now, what does Brexit mean? You see, I think it means exit. Brexit means exit! Brexit means exit! Brexit means exit! We've got the message. It means exit. It doesn't mean messing around and not leaving.
You use the positive aspects of that. You come into that organisation and you say, we can do something more, we can help you. These people want to be helped.
Yeah.
You know, you come into a branch, maybe it's lacking a chairman, maybe it's lacking a secretary, maybe it's lacking a treasurer, it's certainly be lacking foot soldiers.
Yeah.
You come in and you start planning. What do? We want to win this seat. Okay, we can design a nice leaflet, we can get 10,000 of those printed, we can get you 20 blokes out on a Saturday, we'll go and deliver those leaflets, and we'll do the same thing next month. Then you start to raise the consciousness of the party in that constituency. People start to know who it is. You've selected a candidate, his face or her face gets known, you can get them in the local paper. Tell you how you get in the local paper. You take a photo and you write the story and you send it to them, because most of them have only got one reporter now, so if they get the job done for them, they're more likely to print it. And you start to use that, and you can start to use the social media. I mean, I don't understand all this, I'm a bit of an old fogey, but I understand you can target people on Facebook by postcodes.
Yeah. Okay,
well, what are the postcodes in this constituency we want to win? What are the messages we want to send them? And the beauty of this is, it's not high cost to do the social media stuff. You know,
it's
you
free.
can do it.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's free.
You can be as good as however good the person is who understands how they're doing it. And this is where younger people come in, because they are good at this kind of thing. So it isn't something that we're going to give to you, it's something that you're going to give to yourself. We've built the structure over 26 years. You know, we've had branches in places that have been going that long, some are more recent, some have failed, but you can move in and then you can regenerate a branch.
So the structure's there.
The structure is there.
Basically, what really, if I, you know, without putting too fine a point on it, but to summarise that, there's a party there that is crying out for members. There's a street movement here that's crying out for a political direction. You've got the structure. The structure maybe needs a bit of paint and it needs a bit of wallpaper on the walls, but that structure's there in place.
Yeah.
If these guys join UKIP, get involved and get engaged, then they're the ones that are forming the policy.
Exactly.
They're the ones that are driving the.
This is not something that we can do for you. This is something that you can do for yourself. But we can help you.
You can provide the mechanism.
We have already got the structure there. It's very, very difficult now to start a new political party. When we did this 26 years ago, there were very few rules and regulations. You just obeyed the criminal law on electoral law. Provided you didn't break it, you were fine. Now there's a whole raft of stuff that's been brought in by the Electoral Commission. It's all designed to make it more difficult for new parties to actually start up and function.
And that brings me on to the next question. Again, a lot of people in the movement, in the whole patriotic movement, are very concerned about the multitude of parties. You know, it seems like there's a new party starting every week. It's, you know, we're not going to all the names because I got into trouble for doing that last time. But there's a lot of smaller parties. The people in the patriot movement, we're not stupid. We realise that if people vote for all these different parties, it's going to dilute the vote, and we're not going to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. What can we do to unify that? Or is it like you said earlier, let's all just throw all our weight behind UKIP? It really is the only show in town, and obviously if people want to do other things, that's totally up to them, but if we want to achieve something, we've got to unify behind one party. So how can we get that message across to the guys?
Actually, considering how difficult it is now to start a party, I'm amazed how many parties there are, how many names have been registered, but a lot of these are names that have been registered by people who think it's a good idea, but it's not a real political party. And you have some number of smaller parties, but it's a market. Politics is a marketplace, and these people have come out to sell their wares. You can't unify them. Very often they're started by people with strong ideas, strong egos. You're not going to persuade those people to come and join you. What you do is you build a political party like we have over a long period of time, and believe me, it takes a long period of time to do that, because the British people are not going to suddenly oh yes, that's a marvellous, and we're all going to start voting for that in our millions. Something that's only been there for 5 minutes. It doesn't work that way. We've got a 26-year identity which we've built up. People will join a party that's strong and get it stronger. You know the saying, nothing succeeds like success. The more bigger, the more stronger we get, the more successful we get, the more people will come and join us. and those little parties will drift away. So I won't be doing any alliances or even seeking to do any alliances because they don't work. It's as simple as that. It's the first lesson I learned when I came into this business. I wasted some time talking to people who've got little parties. It is a waste of time. You do your own thing and you succeed or fail. And we've succeeded. Look what we got. We've got a fantastic record. We got the referendum. We achieved that, and we won the referendum. It was UKIP boots on the ground and Nigel Farage on the TV that won that referendum.
Absolutely.
It wasn't Gove and Boris Johnson. And then we've shot ourselves in the foot for 2 years with a pump-action shotgun. Well, I've been trying to put that right for the last 5 months, and I think from some people tell me I seem to be doing a reasonable job of that.
That was the other thing. The next question, again, these questions, you're kind of leading into them quite naturally. The next thing I was going to ask, again, from the veterans' point of view, I know this for sure from the veterans' point of view, I'm sure it's the same with the DFLA as well, and the rest of the movement that are supporting UKIP. We're very concerned that you are the man for the job. That's my personal conviction, that you are the leader, and we want you to remain as leader. Now, what guarantees can you give us, again, as a street movement? Because this street movement is quite a powerful force, and I think it's going to get bigger. What guarantee can you give us that you, with the principles that you have and the courage that you have to speak about things like Islam and Islamization and immigration, how do we know that you're going to stay? And if you don't stay, how do we know that there's going to be a continuity of your policies?
There are no guarantees in life, and there's even less in politics. I can't guarantee you that. I stepped into this because there was no one else to do it. I wasn't sure whether I could save the party. I did. I wasn't sure we could be as successful as we've become 5 months in, and I don't know how successful we're going to be in another 8 months' time. If I build a big, strong party, there'll be more people there who want to be leader, and I hope people will come in, with talent and ability, who could then be, potential leaders in the future. I will make a decision next year based on how successful have I been in terms of membership, money coming into the party, polling, how many votes we get in whatever by-elections occur between now and then. And whether I actually feel I could do this for another 4 years. Don't forget, I'm not getting any younger. And
Churchill was a lot older when he was
he probably had a bit more of a structure behind him than I have got at the moment. I don't want to, do I really want to work 7 days a week until I'm 69 years old? I'm not sure I do, really. But what I want to do is to make sure that whenever I decide to finish doing this, that UKIP is a lot stronger than it was when I started. And those people out there who go on these marches and want change in their country, they can't think it's all going to come from me. It's not. It's going to come from other people who step up and become part of that political organisation.
I think from that point of view, and again it leads into this interesting question, is how do we know that there's going to be continuity of policy? Because obviously you are strong on the things that we're passionate about. Love for the country, patriotism, not seeing our country turned into some sort of third world hellhole by default by leaders who have never asked us if we wanted that done. They're the things that the movement are passionate about. Things like child sexual exploitation in working class areas and these sort of things. How do we know there's going to be continuity? And that's, I think, the concern. Even if you do go, that we know that we're going to have someone there that
if enough people join who are concerned about those things, then when there's a leadership contest, the person that's going to win is going to be the person that represents the majority of people in the party.
That makes perfect sense, because if the people that care about what we care about join, then we will, by default, our policies will be instituted because we have the majority in the party. Similar to what's happened in the Labour Party with Momentum, except obviously in a very unpleasant,
a more positive way.
Exactly. So the question of will you standing, and I'm not going to push you on that one because obviously we've looked at that. You've joined our marches and you've spoken at the marches. What's your feeling about the people that you're talking to on the marches? You've met a lot of us. What do you think of us? We know what we think of you, but what do you think of us?
Vast majority of people I've met and spoken to are ordinary, decent, family, working class people. You get the occasional ruffians who cause problems. Don't want anything to do with people like that. We're just not interested in those kind of people joining our party who want to go on a march and start a fight. There's been very little of that. It's been blown out of all proportion by the media. Most people are perfectly reasonable, working class, friendly, nice people. What I would say is and I'll make an observation here, they're precisely the kind of people who haven't organised things very much in the past in a political way. The kind of people who normally join political parties and help them organise are middle class people who are used to doing that type of thing. This is a bit of a weakness because you're asking people to step out of a comfort zone and do something that they haven't done before, and a lot of them are not comfortable about talking about politics or knocking on a door and canvassing and all the rest of it. What I would say is I didn't know I could do this before I started it. I come from an ordinary working class background. I stepped up to do this because I thought if I didn't do something I better stop complaining. And I thought, well, I love my country enough to do something about it, so I did. But I never dreamt I'd be in the position I am today.
It's fantastic.
And I would say to anybody, if you believe in what we believe in, then trust your ability to do it. Just have a bit of confidence and step up and do it. Because if you don't, people are going to do things to you that you don't like, which is what's been happening to us in this country for the last 40 years. People have been doing things to us that we don't like, who do run the country. The establishment, political media establishment. Again,
that leads into it. Just another question. I'm very wary of time here as well. But the particularly the DFLA guys were saying, look, we need people that will speak to us in our language, even at branch level, because obviously, like you say, politics by definition is a middle class man's game, because the working class are too busy, earning a living to actually get engaged in it, and that's a sad indictment of society, but that's the way it is. Things are changing. A lot of these guys want to get involved in politics. They want to start having a voice, but again, they need people that can communicate with them at their own sort of in their own language. That's what one of the guys said to me last night. He says they need to talk our talk so that we can then go out to people and say this is what it's all about. And again, it's getting those sort of simple bite-sized chunks. What's your thoughts on that?
What I would say is I would never talk down to people.
Oh, it's not about that, no.
No, but this is what I'm saying. You've got to have your own style, because you can't be somebody else. So I talk the way I talk because that's the way I am, and everyone else has got to do the same thing. If you know about your subject and you're confident you know the facts, then you can talk about it. It doesn't matter what accent you've got, how many words you've got in your vocabulary, just use the ones you've got to best effect. So that's all I can say really, is don't be frightened of doing it, just do it. Look at the other parties. One of the first lessons I learned on this, when in 1992, when we were called the Anti-Federalist League, there was a chap there who said, because I said I can't be a candidate, I wouldn't know what to do. And I went out and helped this chap who was a candidate. And where were we? We were in somewhere like Hammersmith, where he was on his own, me helping him deliver leaflets. Went to the hustings meeting, and listened to the other candidates talk. And at the end of that, I said to myself, and you thought you couldn't do this? Look at these muppets up here. And I couldn't do better than that.
Yeah.
And that was how I felt about it, and that's where I went from there.
And I think again, get to know.
And that wasn't our candidate; he was very good, actually.
Yeah. Get to know a lot of the guys in the movement. I know for a fact that the people I'm speaking to are of the highest integrity. They're very open to the fact they could step up to this mark and do it. They just need that. It's like everything. We all need a bit of a confidence boost to say, yeah, you can, like you just said, you can do it. Two final jokey questions. What do you think of your nickname? Gerard the Bulldog Batten.
Do you know, I had a sales manager that said that to me once, because he said to me, you're like a dog with a bone. He said, once you decided to go after something, you don't let go. Because I was I think I was quite successful as a salesman, and I was relentless.
Yeah, so that's a good trait in a leader for sure.
I'm not sure I like the nickname.
The other question is a bit of controversy. There was a lot of talk tonight about getting Tony Blair tried for treason. If you become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, will you hold to that manifesto commitment?
Right. What I'll do is, if ever I become Prime Minister, if ever that should happen, the first job that my Attorney General will have will be looking into the feasibility of trying Tony Blair for treason. Fantastic. I can't promise it to you, because it's unlikely I'll be Prime Minister, and by the time it happens, Tony Blair might be dead. I might be dead before. But you get my drift.
I do. I get
I'd try the bastard for treason tomorrow if it was up to me. He's took this country into wars on lies. That should be treason because he's misled the monarch. He has misled Parliament, and that should be treasonable. In ages gone by, you'd lose your head for less than that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Well, Gerard Batten, thank you very much. Good to meet you again, and enjoy your rest of your night.